It's been a busy time for local members of the New Zealand Association of Radio Transmitters. The Otago branch is recreating a historic event at Shag Valley Station near Palmerston. Club Secretary Dave Howell is here to explain. Good evening, Dave.
Good evening, Rebecca.
What event is being recreated?
Well, we're setting out to recreate a 90-year-old historic event of real significance. If I can just read you this little statement about it, it'll probably sum up what it's all about. It was way back in the 1920s when radio communication was its infancy. It was limited to very relatively short distances, and messages to the UK, for instance, had to be relayed via intermediary stations. There was no direct transmission path. And worldwide keen amateur experimenters back in those 1920 days were enthusiastically attempting to improve that situation and experiment with different frequencies and achieve longer distances. And they were using frequencies that the powers that be, if we can call them that, considered to be quite useless for communication. But Frank Bell out at Shag Valley Station was one of these enthusiastic amateur experimenters, and that's located inland from Palmerston on the pig route, where it still is. And 90 years ago, on the 18th of October in 1924, which is tomorrow, 90 years on, in the early evening, operating his call Z4AA, he went down in history as the first person to achieve direct two-way communication between New Zealand and the UK, something that had never been achieved before. And of course, that contact was to the Mill Hill School in London, a fellow amateur experimenter named Cecil Goyder, with a call sign of G2SZ. It lasted for about an hour. And that event opened up everything we know today: cell phones, communication, satellites, everything. It was the sort of first international long-distance communication.
How many people are going to be involved?
There's about 50 on site tomorrow, which is the particular event time, but we've actually spent the last 2 weeks at least setting up the place, building transmitter masts, aerials and so forth. And Johnny Bell, who's the 6th generation Bell family member running the station, he's given us permission to do that. And what we're doing is, although the thing is culminating in the event tomorrow night to recreate that communication back to Mill Hill School in London around dusk tomorrow night, it's actually also an opportunity. We've been on air for a week on all sorts of amateur frequencies for thousands of amateur operators around the world to make contact with ZL4AA, which is our station up at Shag Valley. It's a unique event station, if you like.
Tell us about the grey line.
The grey line is occurs right around the world. If you think about sunset or sunrise, there's a period where it's neither dark nor light. We can call that the grey time. That line extends right around the world, but of course it's a moving feast. It just so happens that when it's grey time in New Zealand, it's also grey time in the UK, because they're on the other side of the world and it's following round. It's just that their sunrise, we're sunset. But that particular time creates atmospheric conditions where communication can follow a path along the grey line, the dusky sort of area around the world, in this case probably across the South Pole to the UK.
And just very quickly, can members of the public be there or take part in any way?
It's difficult for anyone to listen because you've got to have the right sort of receiving equipment to be able to do that. Anyone who cares to turn up at Shag Valley can have a quick look at what we're doing.
Wonderful stuff. Well, good luck for the event. Otago Branch Club Secretary Dave Howell, thanks very much for your time.
You're very welcome. Thanks, Rebecca.